There's a face so perfect, so timeless that some believe it's a lie. Over 3,000 years old. No cracks, no fading, no flaws. Her name is Nefertiti, Egypt's eternal beauty. But what if everything we admire is fake? In October 2009, the Neues Museum in Berlin reopened. After years of renovation, its crown jewel wasn't gold or jewels. It was a single statue, placed under glass, alone. Nefertiti had returned to the spotlight. She wasn't just a statue. She was a statement, a symbol of elegance, power, and mystery. But almost immediately, scholars began to whisper, "How is she this perfect? Why hasn't time touched her?" Then came the shock. A Swiss historian, after 20 years of research, claimed, "This bust is not ancient. It's a modern fake." The beauty of Nefertiti might be nothing more than a masterful illusion. The world froze. Could it be true? Could one of Egypt's most iconic symbols be a lie? The answer lies not just in history books, but in nationalism, art, science, and obsession. The man behind the claim was Henry Stierlin, a respected historian, not a conspiracy theorist. He spent 2 decades studying Nefertiti's bust. His conclusion? It's too perfect, too modern, too good to be real. He compared it to another bust found nearby, Akhenaten, Nefertiti's husband. That one was damaged, worn, and aged. So how could hers be untouched? Were they not buried together? Stierlin argued the bust was created in 1912, not as a fake, but as a display model, a modern interpretation of ancient beauty, meant to show what Nefertiti might have looked like. But once the bust was discovered in Egypt, something changed. It was declared ancient, and soon it became a national treasure, not of Egypt, but of Germany. The bust never returned to Cairo, and for over 100 years it's lived in Berlin, loved by millions, but also questioned by many. Germany refused to return it. Egypt demanded it back. The arguments became louder, but the biggest question of all remained. Was it even real? Mark Gabold, a leading Egyptologist, entered the debate. He didn't dismiss Stierlin completely. "The question is valid," he said, "but without stronger scientific evidence, I cannot call it fake." Meanwhile, in the basement of the Berlin Museum, a press conference was held. Journalists took notes, but no one dared to ask, "Is it fake?" In Germany, questioning Nefertiti's authenticity is almost taboo. She's not just art, she's a national symbol. To accuse her of being fake would shake public trust and challenge a century of cultural pride. The bust was discovered in 1912 by German archaeologist Ludwig Borchardt. He called her the most beautiful face from antiquity, but Borchardt never proved she was real. He just believed. So we began our own investigation. Who sculpted the bust? Where exactly was it found? What tests had been done? And why were the results so secretive? CT scans were done on the bust. What they found inside shocked even the experts. Beneath the surface paint was another face, slightly older, less perfect, like a real woman, not a goddess. This changed everything. Was the outer layer painted over the real face? Was this propaganda, ancient or modern? Was Nefertiti sculpted to be remembered, or redesigned to be worshipped? Nefertiti, after all, lived during a time of upheaval. Her husband, Akhenaten, changed Egypt's religion, art, and politics. Beauty wasn't just decoration, it was power. and image was everything. In the ruins of Karnak, archaeologists found traces of her image, chiseled into stone, barely visible after centuries. But the mystery deepened. Her name was erased in some places. Why? Some believe she ruled as pharaoh after Akhenaten. Others think she was erased from history on purpose. Her origins are unclear. Her disappearance, even stranger. Nefertiti may be the most mysterious woman in Egypt's past. Despite the doubts, the bust remains untouched. No official investigation, no carbon dating, no attempt to open it up. Why? Because some truths might be too dangerous for museums to confront. It's not just about science, it's about ownership, tourism, and national pride. Germany sees her as a treasure, Egypt sees her as stolen, and the world sees her as a masterpiece. Egyptian officials have demanded her return, but Germany refuses. We found her, they say. She's safer here. And so, the queen remains in exile. But maybe that's the point. Nefertiti doesn't belong to one nation. She belongs to history, to humanity, and her mystery belongs to all of us. Whether fake or real, she has power. She challenges our trust in beauty. She questions how we remember the past, and she forces us to ask, what do we want to believe? Some say truth lives in stone. Others say it's shaped by those who hold the chisel. With Nefertiti, maybe both are true. So next time you stand before a piece of history, ask not just what it shows you, but what it hides. Because sometimes the greatest beauty is the mystery itself. Let's rewind 3,300 years. Egypt is at its cultural peak, but one pharaoh wants change. Akhenaten, husband of Nefertiti, abolishes Egypt's many gods. In their place, he installs one, Aten, the sun. Nefertiti wasn't just a wife. She was a revolutionary queen. Carved into temple walls, she's seen leading rituals, wearing the crown usually reserved for kings. She stood beside her husband as an equal. But power comes at a cost. Their religion caused outrage. Temples were closed. Priests were stripped of power, and Nefertiti became both queen and lightning rod for rebellion. Then suddenly she disappears. No records, no tomb, no remains, just silence. Some say she died. Others believe she changed her name and ruled as pharaoh in secret. One theory says she became Smenkhkare, a pharaoh whose identity remains unclear. The statues are androgynous. The names are confusing. Could this king have been Nefertiti in disguise? Back in Berlin, these stories are rarely told. Visitors see a beautiful statue, but few realize the woman behind it may have been one of the most powerful and misunderstood rulers in ancient history. She was not just beauty, she was strategy, diplomacy, faith, and maybe even revolution. But in glass cases, complexity often gets erased. That's the danger of museums. We freeze people in time. We remove their flaws, silence their conflicts. We forget they were human. And Nefertiti, whether real or sculpted, was once deeply, vividly alive. In the age of technology, the bust faces new scrutiny. 3D scans, digital replicas, AI facial reconstructions. And yet none can tell us one thing. Why her? Why this face? Museums sell her image. Posters, t-shirts, fridge magnets. She has become a brand. But somewhere beneath the marketing is a real woman lost. Her eyes are empty. The bust was never given pupils. Was that an ancient choice or modern? Either way, her gaze haunts, seeing everything and nothing. Some say she's too perfect. Symmetry beyond ancient tools, paint too vibrant for 3 millennia. But others say that's the point. The ancients wanted to craft immortality. In 2009, a forensic study found something shocking. Beneath the outer paint layer, another face, slightly asymmetrical, maybe older, maybe real. That inner face had wrinkles, a bent nose, soft cheek folds. It was not a goddess. It was human, and somehow more powerful. Maybe Nefertiti never wanted perfection. Maybe she wanted to be remembered, and someone else, ancient or modern, chose to make her perfect, so she'd never be forgotten. In the end, we're left with a paradox. The most beautiful face in ancient history may not be ancient, may not be real, and yet somehow, she still matters. Maybe it doesn't matter whether the bust is ancient or crafted in 1912. What matters is what she's become, a bridge between past and present, a face that still asks us questions. Art is not only truth, it is intention. Whether by an ancient artisan or a German sculptor, someone chose to show us this face. What does it say about them and us? The power of beauty is dangerous. It freezes memory. It makes us forget flaws. And Nefertiti, flawless as she seems, may be hiding more than we know. What if her mystery is the message? What if she was meant to remind us that history is never simple, and truth wears many faces? In the end, Nefertiti is a question carved in stone, a queen without a grave, a face without a voice, but still, she speaks. As you walk away from her glass case, ask yourself, what makes something real? Age, evidence, belief, or the impact it leaves behind? Nefertiti's secret may never be solved, but maybe that's why she endures, because mystery has a longer life than certainty. If this story moved you, share it. Comment what you believe. Real or not, Nefertiti is still watching, and her mystery belongs to us all.